Good afternoon. We're back with more Marvel Champions, and today will be Venom versus Wrecking Crew on Heroic 1 difficulty. We'll be playing BA Venom mode, or BA Wrecking Crew, which means you defeat the B side of the villains and then the A side. And we'll be playing this on Heroic 1 difficulty. The setup for this is a bit clunky because each deck needs to be shuffled, and there's limited ways to do that in this program, so bear with me for a moment while we get set up. If you'd like to fast forward until this is done, feel free, because it's just going to be me shuffling each deck on stream. You could do this off video, of course, but I always like to shuffle on video if possible. I'll put the encounter deck over there, so each one of these bosses gets their own deck. And if there's a faster way to do this, I haven't found it. Oh, I guess this is faster. Draw and revealed. Yeah, that's much easier. Much easier. So this one was Bulldozer. Okay, great. Wrecker. So we got our encounter decks. And let's get the hand. Playing Protection Venom. Throw away Run and Gun behind enemy lines, and we'll keep the others. Then we'll use the setup ability to discard until we find a weapon. Hopefully it's multi-gun. Now we're discarding a lot here. Well, this is the downside to Venom's ability sometimes. Alrighty, let's get started. So we can flip over to Venom. We'll get out Venom's pistol. I actually want Savage Attack. We'll see. And go Energy Barrier. Drax for Venom's pistol. And then I think I'll just use these two for a Savage Attack. 5 damage to an enemy. We'll just go for the lowest HP one. And then we'll also attack with Venom and Venom's pistol for 3 damage. And each of these is an attack, so it deals 1 retaliation damage. 2 damage. And we'll draw 5. So, you place 1 threat on the main scheme, 1 on each side scheme, and then you have the active counter going to the villain with the scheme with the most threat, which is Wrecker. So Wrecker is going to attack, which Venom will defend along with Venom's pistol for +1 to his defense. And the boost card is a 3, so he's attacking for 6. It's 1, 2, 3. We'll use Energy Barrier here to block the 3 damage, return 3 damage, and move that to the discard pile. And then we've got 2 encounter cards coming. First up, your Dead Meat. Deal 1 damage to the hero or ally with the fewest remaining hit points. Next up, Corrupt Prison Guard. Okay. I could have Grasping Tendrils there. And maybe I should have, but then I would not have been able to play multi-gun. And I really want to get out multi-gun, so we'll go 1, 2, 3 for multi-gun, which is not ideal, but I think it's necessary. We'll use multi-gun to deal 2 damage. And then we'll go ahead and draw 4. And so 1 threat. And then an attack from Wrecker, which we'll use Grasping Tendrils on. Using a Venom resource, and we'll also use probably Groot. Or maybe Ironheart. So we'll cancel the attack and get a stun on Wrecker. Corrupt Prison Guard will attack for 2. Then we have 2 encounter cards incoming. First up, Chaos in the Prison. Choose to either discard an upgrade you control or place 1 threat on the active villain side scheme for each upgrade you control. We can go ahead and do the threat. That'll get this to 10, which means 2 damage. And reduction to 3. And then we got 1 more encounter card, which is Mystical Link. Place 2 threat on each side scheme. Okay, for the hero phase, we'll go ahead and use a Venom resource and Mockingbird, Nerves of Steel to get out Groot. We'll use Venom and Venom's pistol to take out the Corrupt Prison Guard. We'll use Multi-Gun for Pile Driver. We'll use Groot to put Pile Driver into phase or side A. So side B defeated. Side A comes into play. And then we're going to flip to Alter Ego and draw 6. So 1 threat, and that's going to activate Thunderstruck. If there's 10 or more threat here, stun each friendly character, and reduce threat to 3. So we have Forced Response and Forced Response. I don't know which of these is supposed to go off first. After step 1, this is after threat is placed here. I think the threat is probably placed there and then step 1 is over. So, yeah, that's how we'll play it. Which means the active token goes to Bulldozer. And Bulldozer will attack, and that attack will go on, well, no, Bulldozer schemes. And his threat goes on his side scheme. So his scheme is for 2 plus a boost of 0. And his side scheme, after threat is placed here, if there's 10 or more, he must discard the top 10 of the deck. So 1, 2, 3. I only have 3. So that will deal an extra encounter card. Reduce threat to 3. And then we have 2 more encounter cards coming. So encounter card number 1, discard the top X cards of your deck where X is Bulldozer's attack. 1 threat on the side scheme for each different card type. So we have an ally, a resource, and an upgrade. So 1, 2, 3. Counter card number 2, get wrecked. The villain whose side scheme has the most threat schemes, that would be Pile Driver. We'll scheme for 2 plus 2 is 4. So you discard an upgrade or support you control with the highest cost, that would be Multi-Gun. And reduce to 3. That's get wrecked. And then we have the final encounter card, which is discard the top card of your deck for Bulldozer Schemes. Discard the top card for each threat placed this way. So Bulldozer Schemes for 3. And I have to discard 3 cards. Okay, that's it for the villain phase. For the hero phase, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4 for Avengers Mansion. Energy Barrier is also really good, but I really need to ramp. Heal for 4. We'll use Avengers Mansion to draw a card. We'll flip over to Venom, and we'll use 1 Venom resource to play. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use Energy Barrier to play a second pistol. And we'll go Thwart for 1 with Groot. And we'll draw 4. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's at 10. Got to discard the top 10 of my deck. And that's going to move the active villain from Bulldozer over to Wrecker. Wrecker will attack, which is prevented by stun. And then we got 2 encounter cards coming. Get wrecked. The villain whose side scheme has the least threat attacks you. That would be Bulldozer, so he's going to attack. We'll have Groot defend, I think. Or I may want one more threat out of him. One more thwart. We could have Venom defend. Or I could Grasping Tendrils. Let's Grasping Tendrils. Let's use a Venom resource, and let's use Desperate Defense for Grasping Tendrils. Cancel the attack and get a stun on Bulldozer. And then we have one more encounter card. Choose the villain whose side scheme has the least threat. Reveal the top card of his deck. That would be Bulldozer. So that card will be Buddy System. Choose this villain whose side scheme has the least threat. Reveal the top card of his deck. That's Bulldozer again. Attached to Bulldozer, he gets a +1 attack. And after he attacks, we discard the top card of the deck for each damage dealt. So on to the hero phase. We'll use Avengers Mansion to draw a card. Locked and Loaded can only search the deck, and the multi-gun is currently in the discard pile. So we're going to use Locked and Loaded to get out Unflappable. And we're going to use Groot to thwart one more time. And we're going to switch to Alter Ego here, I think. Or maybe I'll use Venom's action to remove the stun. Then I'll switch to Alter Ego and draw 4. And we have 1 threat. 1, 1, 1, 1. Wrecker remains the active. And he's going to scheme for 1, 2, 3, 4. And this will deal 2 damage to each friendly character, which will retire Groot. Then we have 2 encounter cards coming, which would be Wrecker's Command, buff for his scheming, and Escape Convict, which surges. You're dead meat, 1 damage to the hero. Onto the hero phase, we'll recover. Draw a card. You go 1, 2, 3 for Gamora. Use Gamora. Take out the convict. After she attacks, discard cards until you discard an event. Add it to the hand. We'll use I want to use Iron Fist here. I'm going to use Iron Fist to play hard to handle, or hard to ignore. And I think we'll flip to Venom form and use his one resource to play with Never Back Down to play Energy Barrier. And then we'll draw 4. So progress is slow without the multi-gun. We'll get it back eventually. Wrecker is no longer active. Now it's either Pile Driver or Thunderball. I'm going to choose Pile Driver. So Pile Driver will attack, which Venom will defend along with his pistols. So the attack will be for 2 plus move the active counter to the villain with the least threat on his side scheme. That's Wrecker. But the attack will be for just 2, so Venom does defend successfully, which means hard to ignore. Removes 1 threat from the main scheme. And Unflappable draws a card. Then we get 2 encounter cards coming. I've been waiting for this. The villain heals 3 hit points and he gets a tough status card. And Crowbar Toss. Wrecker attacks you, then move the active villain counter to the villain whose side scheme has the least threat. That's still Wrecker, but he does get an attack here. And we'll just face tank that. The attack is for 3. Well, actually, I don't think I want to face tank because he gets +2 if it's undefended, so he's going to attack for 5 plus the boost. It'll have to go on Gamora. So rip Gamora. And on to the hero phase. We'll draw a card. We'll go 1, 2, 3 for Drax, I think. Get some damage on Pile Driver. I don't know if I want to take the Retaliate on Drax, though. You just get some damage on Thunderball. Use a Venom resource to play a second Energy Barrier. And then we'll draw 4. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And then we move the active token to Pile Driver. He will attack, which Venom will defend with his pistols. Attack is for 4, so Venom just defends successfully. That means 1 threat and 1 card drawn. That means another encounter card plus 2 more encounter cards. It's going to be Escape Plan. You're confused. Held hostage. Threat cannot be removed from attached scheme by thwarting. That's fine. Uncanny Resilience. Remove each stun and confuse status card from each villain. Are there any? There is 1. Okay, on to the hero phase. We'll draw a card. Project Rebirth is really good. I'll get that out. And use Drax for 3 damage. We'll go 1, 2 for Ironheart and draw a card. Locked and loaded. We'll use Ironheart to thwart for 1, and then I think we're going to flip to Alter Ego here. and draw 3. And use Project Rebirth to heal 3. So 1 threat. And then Pile Driver will scheme for 1/2. Discard a support you control. I like these supports. Oh, discard the support you control with the highest cost. Energy barriers are upgrades, so that'd be Avengers Mansion, which is a tough loss. Oh no, that's the boost. It just says discard a support you control. Well, that'll have to be Project Rebirth or Avengers Mansion. And I actually think Project Rebirth is a little bit better in this scenario because it can heal for so much, and you can flip to alter ego format will in this one because the villains don't scheme on the main scheme. So I'm going to get rid of Avengers Mansion. And then we got 2 encounter cards coming. Oh right, that's 2 threat on this for the scheme, and then we have to discard 10 cards. Should have used locked and loaded last turn, but I didn't think about the discard. So we got Corrupt Prison Guard. And Escaped Convict, which is going to surge into Escape Plan. You're confused. If you're already confused, Pile Driver schemes. So he schemes for 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so for the hero phase, go Project Rebirth again to heal. Use Locked and Loaded to grab the multi-gun. We'll flip to hero form and use a Venom resource, a Never Back Down, Nerves of Steel for multi-gun. Use multi-gun to kill the convict. We'll use Venom and a pistol to kill the Corrupt Prison Guard. We'll use Drax to deal 3 damage. And then we'll draw 2. So 1 threat. Move the active. Thunderball will attack. That attack will go on Ironheart. And then we have to deal 1 damage to each character, which will retire Drax. So wait, deal 1 damage to each character you control. We can reduce it by 1 with the energy barrier and deal 1 for the Venom damage. And then we got 2 encounter cards coming. Energy projectiles, deal 1 damage to each friendly character. Chaos in the Prison. Discard an upgrade or place 1 threat on the villain's side scheme for each upgrade you control. I will discard an upgrade. Probably just one of the pistols. And then we're on to the hero phase. Well, I should have Grasping Tendrils. I could have saved Drax. Whoops. Inexperience with Venom. Failure to look at the hand. Terrible. Let's go ahead and... well, maybe I don't want to discard Venom's pistol. Discard Energy Barrier, and then I could put the boss into phase A here. Put Thunderball into phase A. Yeah, let's get rid of an Energy Barrier. I think the pistol provides more over the long run. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's a little bit risky. I think I'm going to reduce threat by 2. And then I have nothing else I really want to play. No, let's not reduce threat by 2. Let's deal 2 damage. This villain will tap out and bring in his A side. And then we're going to use Never Back Down on Desperate Defense 4 behind enemy lines to remove 3 threat. And we'll draw 3. So 1 threat. That's going to be a stun on each friendly character. And we move the active to Pile Driver, who will attack for 2, which Venom will defend with his pistols. Or we could just use a Venom resource and Never Back Down for Grasping Tendrils. Cancel the attack, add a stun. And 2 encounter cards. Buddy System. Reveal the top card of the villain with the least scheme, that's Thunderball. Lightning Blast, Thunderball attacks you. Okay. This time Venom will defend. The attack is for 1. Two, 3, 4. So Venom defends that successfully. That's going to be a hard to handle and an unflappable. And then he's going to deal 1 damage to each character. We'll block that. And we have 1 more encounter card, which is Pummel. Pile Driver attacks you. If he is tough, which he is not, he's actually stunned. On to the hero phase. Making progress, it's just slow. We can go multi-gun for 2. We'll just work on Pile Driver. Do I want to use Run and Gun here? All I'd be able to do is get rid of a stun and use multi-gun again. I don't think so. I think we'll go Savage Attack for 5. 1 damage. And then we'll draw 4. So 1 threat. That's going to proc multiple effects. Discard the upgrade or support with the highest cost. Goodbye, multi-gun. And discard the top 10 cards of the deck. It's going to add an additional encounter card. Now we move the active token to Wrecker. And we have an attack from Wrecker, which Venom will block with his pistols. It's for 3. He gets +3 attack for this activation unless you place 2 threat on his side scheme. +3 would put him to 6 compared to 4. You can use the energy barrier, so we'll do that. It's going to be 4, 5, 6 for 1 toughness and 1 damage. And then we get to proc our effects. And we'll shuffle this side, or this Villains Encounter deck. Oh, whoops, have I been discarding some cards out of habit? Pile Driver, oh yeah, just minions. Wrecker. Okay. So we've still got 2 encounter cards coming. 1, 2, 3. You're dead to me, 1 damage. I've been waiting for this. Heal 3 hit points and get a tough status card. And get wrecked. The Villain whose side scheme has the least threat attacks you. That'll be Pile Driver for 2, plus a boost card. Discard a support you control. I don't think I have any. Oh, I do have Project Rebirth. So just 2 damage. And then we need to shuffle that deck as well. Alright, on to the hero phase. Let's go with Behind Enemy Lines for Hard to Ignore number 2. We can go one, two, three, and get Groot out. And we'll use Groot for 2. 1 Retaliate. We'll flip to Alter Ego and draw 6. Spider Sense is a good card. So 1 threat. It's going to deal 2 damage to each friendly character. Then we have a scheme. Well, we got to move the token to Thunderball, and then schemes for 3. Plus 2 is 5. And that means a stun on each friendly character. Venom is already stunned. And we have 2 encounter cards coming. Energy Projectiles, that's going to retire Groot. Buddy System. The villain with the lowest scheme is Thunderball or Wrecker. We'll just do Thunderball. And he gets held hostage. So we can't remove threat from that scheme either. Onto the hero phase. Let's definitely heal. Let's get out Spider Sense. Let's get out Energy Barrier. And should we just stay in Alter Ego? This is the problem with this scenario. You can practically stay in Alter Ego form forever and only get mildly inconvenienced by it. Because you just get 1 threat on the main scheme each round. So it's really hard to lose by threading out. And given that, you can just kind of chill. In fact, I could probably just play allies to thwart and stay in Alter Ego forever with only mild inconveniences. We'll draw 5. Active is going to be Pile Driver or Bulldozer. We'll go with Pile Driver, who is nearly defeated. He's going to scheme for 3. Then 2 encounter cards. I've been waiting for this. 3 hit points and a tough status card. And Pummel. Pile Driver schemes. If he's tough, he gets plus 2 schemes. That's going to be 4 scheme plus... You're confused. Yep, we're already confused. So 4 scheme. That's going to be discard the support or upgrade with the highest cost, which will be Spider Sense or Energy Barrier. Well, I really want Spider Sense, so... Onto the hero phase, we'll heal again. We'll go 1, 2... 3, 4 for Iron Fist. And we'll flip to hero form. We'll use Iron Fist to get a stun on, let's see, who's the highest right now? It's Bulldozer? Okay. 3 damage and a stun there. And we'll use a Savage Attack to get out Hard to Ignore number 3. And we'll draw 5. So 1 threat. It's going to be Bulldozer that's active. He will not get his attack due to being stunned. He will get 2 encounter cards. Bull Rush, Bulldozer attacks you. Okay, so Venom will defend that with his pistols, and we'll also use Desperate Defense with, I think, behind enemy lines. For Desperate Defense to add 2, we get a draw card with Spider Sense. So he's attacking for 3. Attack is not undefended. So Venom defends successfully. That's going to remove 3 threat. And draw a card. And ready Venom since he took no damage. 1 more encounter card. Headbutt. Discard 1 card at random from a hand. Take damage equal to that card's printed cost. That's 0. And we're on to the hero phase. Let's see, is Multi-Gun in my discard pile? It isn't, so we can use Locked and Loaded to go get it. What was the top card? We can use Iron Fist. We can use these 3 to get out Multi-Gun. We'll go ahead and remove the toughness from Pile Driver. We'll get another stun on Bulldozer. And we'll use Venom's action to get the stun off of him. One threat. And then Bulldozer is stunned, and then we got 2 encounter cards. Leading the charge. Discard the top X where X is Bulldozer's attack. That's 3. Plus 3 threat. That's going to be 10 discard. Escaped Convict, which surges. Held hostage. Okay. For the hero phase, we'll use Multi-Gun. Kill the convict. We'll go Power in All of Us plus Never Back Down for Drax. We'll use Drax and Iron Fist to take out Pile Driver, which is going to retire Pile Driver along with his side quest and his deck. So progress is being made. Then we can use Venom and Venom's pistols. We'll get power protection for an energy barrier and use Venom and Venom's pistols for 4 damage on probably Thunderball. And we'll draw 5. That's going to be another encounter card. So we have... Oh, I forgot to do that before, I think. Discard 1 from the top of the deck for each damage. So we got 1 threat. And we got 1 attack from Bulldozer on Venom using his pistols. And they might as well never back down as well. Or Desperate Defense. Let's use the Venom resource to Desperate Defense. And so that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No damage. And that'll remove threat and draw a card. And we draw a card for Spider Sense as well. And let's get this deck shuffled up. Then we got this encounter card plus 2 more to reveal. Ramming Speed, that's another attachment for Bulldozer. You must defend against his attacks with an ally if able. Choose the villain whose side scheme has the least threat. That's going to be Bulldozer, reveal a card. Chaos, discard an upgrade or place 1 threat for each upgrade. We'll discard a hard to ignore. And the last encounter card, discard the top X, which is going to be 3, place 1 threat for each. Okay, on to the hero phase. Let's go Drax, or Iron Fist should be retired. Power Protection for another energy barrier. Power on All of Us for Ironheart, and we'll draw a card. And we'll get out Nerves of Steel. We'll go Multi-Gun for 2 on Thunderball, Drax for 3, Ironheart for 1, and we'll draw 5. So 1 threat, 1, 1, 1. These are all at 8, so I can choose which one I want to be active, and I probably would like Wrecker to be active, because I don't want to deal with this +2 and +1. Or do I care? 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a lot going on here that I could use, so let's just take the Bulldozer attack. So he's attacking for 3, 4, 5, 6. We're defending with Venom and Venom's pistols and using Nerves of Steel for Never Back Down, which is +2. The total attack is for 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 for Never Back Down is 5, 6. And then 1 from Energy Barrier. And then we've got the Hard to Ignore and the Unflappable and the Spider Sense. And then we have 2 encounter cards coming. Bull Rush, Bulldozer attacks you. That's going to go on Ironheart. Boost of 0. Ironheart dies, so it's going to discard 1 card for each damage, that's 1. And then we have 1 more encounter card, which is Bulldozer attacks you. That's going to go on Drax. Once again, well, this time it's 2 damage. Okay, on to the hero phase. Thunderball only has 2 HP left. Let's go ahead and finish him off with the multi-gun. And remove his side quest and his deck. And then we can get out Project Rebirth again. Go 1, 2, 3, 4 for Martyr. And we'll use Martyr to start dealing damage to Bulldozer. We'll keep dealing damage to Bulldozer. And we'll draw 4. So 1 threat, 1 and 1, and we'll move the active to Wrecker. Since they're both 9, the first player gets to choose. We'll have Wrecker attack Venom with Venom's pistols. It's going to be for 1, 2, 3, 4. So no damage, hard to ignore, unflappable, Spider Sense, and then we have 2 encounter cards coming. Villain whose side scheme has the least threat, they both have the same. Held hostage. Escaped convict. That will surge into get wrecked. Wrecker will attack. We'll just face tank it. Attack is going to be for 1, 2, 3. Either 2 threat on his side scheme or 3 attack. I don't think I care about 3 attack. So we'll go up to 6 attack. And is there any consequence for taking a damage? I don't think there was. So instead of the 6 attack, we'll go 5 and then 1. Just remove tough and then 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. And then we're on to the hero phase. I may want to use run and gun here. Let's use the multi-gun first for 2 damage. Go 1, 2, 3 for run and gun and ready up Venom and his upgrades. I just need 4 damage, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 to put Bulldozer into phase B. Or phase A, I mean. And we'll use the multi-gun to continue doing damage to him. We'll go Martyr to take out this convict. If I accidentally discarded anything, no. And then we'll go probably, should it be Savage Attack? Move the plot along. Or just play Groot. I think Groot's more damage overall. And then I think we'll flip to Alter Ego here and heal. No sense in taking chances at this point, right? Don't have any energy barriers out at the moment, so 1 threat. 1 and 1. That's going to be 2 damage to each friendly character. Rip Martyr. And discard 10. Which I only have 5, so that's going to be an extra encounter card. Then the villain will scheme for 6. And we got 3 encounter cards. Deal 1 damage to the hero or ally with the fewest remaining hit points. That is Groot. 2 threat on each side scheme. It's going to be another 2 damage to each friendly. And Crowbar Toss, Wrecker Schemes for 3. And then we move the active over to Bulldozer. So, on to the hero phase. Heal up. Heal up. We'll flip. We'll deal 2 damage. We'll go 1, 2, 3 for run and gun. And we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get rid of Bulldozer. And all of his stuff. So, just 1 left. We'll go 1, 2, 3 for Rocket. And we'll draw 5. 1 threat. 1 attack from Wrecker. Venom will defend with his pistols. Attack is for 3. If this attack is undefended, it's not, so Venom defends successfully. Remove threat. Unflappable. There's only 1 deck left, so we can just put it in the main deck slot now. And then we got 2 encounter cards coming. maybe it's easier just to leave it out here like this. 2 encounter cards. Escape Convict surges into Get Wrecked. The villain attacks you. We can just have Rocket defend that. I don't know. No, Venom can take it. So go 1, 2, 3. Move the active counter. Yeah, there's no other villains. So 3 damage. And then we have 1 more encounter card coming. Choose the villain. That's just a blank surge. Chaos. Discard an upgrade. Okay, we'll discard a hard to ignore. And then we're on to the hero phase, and we'll go ahead and use Rocket for 4 damage with 2 overkill. And we have Multi-Gun for 2. We have Nerves of Steel, Behind Enemy Lines, and a Venom resource to play Run and Gun. And we'll attack for 4, 5, 6. And then we'll just draw 2. And we got 1 threat. And we got an attack, but we'll use Grasping Tendrils with a Venom resource and, I don't know, probably Mockingbird. Actually, a Venom resource and Nerves of Steel will do it, since that is a defense event. Oh wait, I shouldn't have been stunning the villain unless I was using strength resources. Ugh. Well, I can do that this time. I'd have to go back and look at how I did it wrong each time. That's irritating, but probably not going to be worth redoing the whole scenario, because I think this video will be sufficient to demonstrate the mechanics of the quest, and it should be relatively clear that with this deck you really can't lose. Anyway, we'll use what did I use? Mockingbird and Iron Fist for Grasping Tendrils. Completely forgot that you have to pay for a card using only strength resources. But anyway, 2 encounter cards. Wrecker attacks you. No, he does not. You're dead to me. 1 damage to Rocket. And then we're on to the hero phase. We can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, take out Wrecker side B. All we got left is Wrecker side A. 2 damage for Wrecker side A. 1 Venom resource, 1 Grasping Tendrils for Energy Barrier, and then we'll draw 5. So 1 threat, 1 attack, which will go on Rocket. Two encounter cards. You're dead to me, 1 damage. And 1 +1 attack. For the hero phase, we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll go 2 for 5 damage. 1, 2, 3, and a Venom resource for Martyr. And then finish it off. So, yeah, however many times I Grasping Tendrils, I highly doubt that I used the resources each time, but I also highly doubt that it would have affected anything, because if you just play Protection on this scheme, especially with a hero like Venom who has Project Rebirth for healing, you really can't lose because you can't really threat out. Like if I just stayed in alter ego form forever until I was fully healed, how does the villain beat me? The threat that builds up on this main scheme is very easy to deal with. The side schemes, if they build up in threat, they're a mild inconvenience. 2 damage, discard 10, brings an extra encounter card. The encounter cards are mild, so the mechanics of this quest really just mean that the only way that you can lose is if you increase the difficulty so high that you're getting enough encounter cards that you get like 3 attacks in one turn and that kills you. But apart from that, you can't really lose this. So Heroic 1 and probably Heroic 2 difficulties are, yeah. And so even though I did the Grasping Tendrils wrong, I'm not going to really redo this because this should be sufficient to demonstrate the mechanics of this scenario even on high difficulty. And that will help you, the viewer, to not to evaluate the strength of Venom or this deck because the scenario is so easy, but this scenario pack does cost $20, so this will help you, the viewer, to determine whether this is something that you would like to buy for yourself or for your gaming group. So, thank you for watching.